Hi, this is Marie here with Funding for Good. I'm excited to be joining you all today. I'm here working with Mandy, and we were just having a conversation about why professionals like myself, Mandy, and other nonprofit leaders that we know would spend money on outsourcing our work. For example, I can write grants, have done so successfully. People pay me and contract me to do that, but I'm the executive director of a nonprofit, and I still choose at times to contract someone such as Mandy to come in and write a grant, or other professionals to do things that I'm capable of doing myself. So why would we do that? Why does that make sense? It really comes down to perspective and the bang for your buck. I'll just give you a quick example using Mandy, and then we'll move on to some other examples. Several years ago, I worked at a nonprofit. I got to know Mandy at that time, about 10 years ago, and I just had my hands full. I was wearing several different hats in the development of this nonprofit, and even though I could write the grants, I really needed someone that could help me meet the deadlines, get the research to me, because a lot of times I'd be so busy taking care of day-to-day things that I would miss a deadline, or I would forget that a grant cycle was getting ready to come up. And it was much more effective for me to contract Mandy on a monthly basis and say, hey, could you create me a matrix, make sure that I'm staying on track here? And we were able to generate revenue that, had I been trying to do that on my own, probably wouldn't have come into the organization. So time management was just one of the major reasons that I decided to outsource work that I was capable of doing. Another situation would be perspective. I'm currently working with a nonprofit that's getting ready to launch a tri-state event, and it's an amazing event. It's going to have lots of moving parts, and we're just really excited about doing it. But I'm not in a specific professional fields that will be represented in these series of events. So getting an outside perspective on these is really important to me. So I'll be bringing in Funding for Good to help with some of the grant connections, but I'll also be bringing in archaeologists and other professionals from the community, marketing design people, to get a different perspective so that we can really showcase our organization in the way that best meets the community needs. If I only depended on my own ability to create that product, then I might miss some really great opportunities to hit some niches in the market and reach and impact community members that I might not have gotten to connect with otherwise. Another example would be just the bang for the buck, your cost management. It is no secret I am not a design person. I don't like to sit down in front of a computer and format something. I love to write the document. I can write a blog all day, but when you get those nice blogs that are written for me, Mandy's the one that's making them look pretty. So I really appreciate that about partnering with someone, because I love the writing part, but I'm not so great at the technical part. I could sit down and make a blog pretty. I could sit down and make a marketing piece pretty, but it would probably take me about 3 times as long as someone else who's better at that, and that's their skill set. I'm working on creating some brochures and some marketing things and a newsletter, and I realized to format our newsletter, it was taking me about 4 or 5 hours of formatting and playing around and cutting and pasting, and it was just getting to be a headache. I found that I was not enjoying the process as much, and when I calculated my hourly pay and realized exactly how many hours I was going into that, I was able to call a local printer and say, how much would you charge me for this design piece? Intuitively, my brain was saying, why would you pay someone else to do this when you can do it? Well, they quoted me $30 for this small design piece. And if you're thinking about the hundreds of dollars of my time and hours, it made perfect sense to say, guess what? We'll be sending you our newsletter in Word format, along with some picture documents, and have fun making the design work. So it takes that extra time. It gives it back to me so I can put it to where it's better served. I'm not spending 6 hours every other month working on a newsletter. I can dedicate my time to quality of content, and I trust the professional that I outsource to create something that works for us. It's also really important to build these relationships, because we have turnover in the nonprofit world. If I try to do everything on my own, and a lot of us do, then what happens if I'm out sick or something happened, life happens, I move on, then who's going to do that? When one person is capable and feels the need to do everything without delegating or outsourcing, it can be a great thing, but it can also be a handicap, because the nonprofit loses all of those skill sets and things when that person moves on or transitions for whatever reason that may be. So at least at this point, if something were to happen and I had to move out of the country tomorrow, at least my organization could say, we trust our relationship with this printing company. They can help keep us on track on the newsletters. We're working with this marketing company to do some things. And yes, we still put in our professional work. I still write the grants, but I keep a really good record of that. And that way, if a new executive director or a new staff person or a board member were to follow me, then they have my documents, and if they don't have the skill set, they would be able to outsource to find someone that could help them with that as well. So those are just a few of the reasons I found that it's helpful for me as the director of a nonprofit to outsource my time management. I get more bang for my buck. It frees up my time and energy, and also I just gain a totally different perspective working with people who love doing that specific piece of the work. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll be looking forward to doing some more vlogs with Mandy and Funding for Good, and hope that you have a fabulous month.